Hello. Hi, everybody. I am Dr. Jyoti Prabhakar. I am working as consultant in neonatology department at KIMS Hospital, Trivandrum. In the previous video, we discussed about how STOPS is useful in identifying a sick neonate and how you have to intervene fast. In this video, let us discuss about shock in a neonate and how to act fast and assess fast and act fast. So in this video, we'll discuss little about importance of golden hour. What are the different types of shock, importance of assessing stops each time, importance of continuous monitoring, algorithm on approach to shock, a little bit on the equipments, bolus calculation, inotrope, importance of early referral and appropriate transport. Golden hour, this is extremely important in treatment in management of any sick neonate. You have to make use of the initial first hour. You have to act fast and assess after each intervention. You have to assess and see that your baby is coming back to normal. And shock is a state of cardiovascular compromise where oxygen and nutrient supply is not matching baby's demand. The usual causes are hypovolemic shock, cardiogenic, distributive, and hypovolemic shock is very rare in newborns. It happens when there is definite history of abruption or placenta previa, fetal-maternal hemorrhage, and ideally, too much of boluses is not indicated in a newborn because this hypovolemic shock is rare in newborns. Other causes are cardiogenic shock, where you get in asphyxia, sepsis, congenital heart disease, patent ductus arteriosus. Distributive, this is a common cause of shock in neonate. It is septic shock, which is more common than any other types. And when your baby is not responding to the initial mode of management, not responding to the initial modes, you have to think of rare causes. What are the other reasons for a refractory shock? It could be a coarctation of aorta, where the management is different, or it could be persistent pulmonary hypertension or pneumothorax, or rarely inborn errors of metabolism. So in any baby with whatever be the reason, any sick baby, you will be assessing baby with stops, that is sensorium, skin color, temperature, oxygenation, perfusion and sugar. Symptoms in pertaining to shock, it could be poor activity, baby will be having tachypnea, dusky color. Signs, there can be early signs as well as late signs. Early signs are prolonged CRT, tachycardia, pool peripheries, pulse volume will be low. Late signs are hypotension, low BP, and other signs of multi-organ injury. There can be injury to kidneys causing oliguria, injury to gut perfusion will be compromised, resulting in feed intolerance, and sensorium because of poor cerebral perfusion. Sensorium may not be okay. So these are the late signs you have to see that, and sometimes baby can be in the extreme stages. You can find a baby skin is very thick and scleromatous and pale and mottled. So whenever you see a baby, never forget stops. You have to assess the baby as a whole, starting from sensorium, temperature, oxygenation, perfusion, and sugar. So these are the signs we discuss. Early signs are there can be tachycardia, heart rate, any heart rate more than 160 is not okay in a newborn baby. You have to look for the cause. Pulse volume, this is also important. Peripheral pulses, you have to see the volume, how is the pulses felt, and with emphasis to femorals. Femorals, bilateral femorals can be absent in a critical condition, coarctation of aorta. It can also present within 3 to 4 days in a healthy looking baby. Baby can come to the emergency room by suddenly crashing. And CRT, it is demonstrated in the picture. Here CRT, any CRT more than 3 seconds is abnormal. And skin color, this baby can be mottled, dusky in cases of shock. NIBP, this has a major role in NICUs as well as in emergency management. And even though we know the gold standard in BP measurement is arterial BP, but it may not be possible in all facilities. Non-invasive blood pressure measurement, this is very useful, but you have to be very careful in taking the cuff size. The cuff width should encircle 40% of arm circumference, and cuff length should be at least 80 to 100, more than 80% of the arm circumference. Lower size of the cuff may give erroneously high values, and higher size can give low values. So you have to be careful in taking the while using the cuff. Urine output is also important. You have to measure urine output once in at least 4 to 6 hours. It can be a sign of shock, and once the urine output come back to normal, you can see as a therapeutic response indicated. Oliguria on day 1 is okay, but good urine output is always reassuring. How to measure urine output? You can either, in a sick baby, you can catheterize the bladder and measure each ml of urine, or you can use weigh diapers. A diaper can be weighed before use, and after getting the urine, you can measure the weight and you can see the weight difference, and that will be the urine output. And this is also extremely important. In any sick baby, you should have a monitoring chart, and you have to closely monitor the baby. In this chart here, you can see the baby is initially monitored at half-hourly interval, and later it became 10 after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, etc. It became more closer. This is important because you will get a warning sign in at 1:30 p.m. This baby was okay, no red marking anywhere. Baby CRT was 2 seconds. Activity, baby was sleepy. Heart rate was 142, peripheries were warm, and NIBP value was showing normal. NIBP map we usually take, and more than 35 is considered okay for a healthy newborn. And at 2 o'clock, we can see the CRT is prolonged 4 seconds. Baby is again sleepy. Heart rate is going, even though it is not reached 160, but it is increasing 158. Peripheries are cold, and BP, NIBP map is showing less than 35, it is 30, and sugar is also low. Saturation is not mentioned here. We forgot to mention saturation. We know here again the assessment is by your stops only, and by 2:10 again what we did was we rewarmed the baby. Sorry, we rewarmed the baby and again assessed after 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes of rewarming, the CRT is still more prolonged. Again 4 seconds, and activity, baby is sleepy, heart rate is going up, peripheries are still cold, and BP is not returned back to normal. So what we did was the baby has not responded to your hypothermia correction. So it could be it could be a signs of poor perfusion, and we gave the baby 10 ml per kg normal saline bolus. And after the bolus at 2:40, when we examined, the CRT is returning to normal 3 seconds. Baby is again sleepy, but heart rate is it is slowing down. Peripheries are warm, and BP numbers are okay. And this monitoring should be continued. And baby at 3 o'clock, we saw the CRT is come back to normal. Baby has become active. Heart rate is also okay. Baby is warm, and the BP number is also okay. And baby has passed some urine also. So we have to seek that close monitoring is required in any sick baby, and we have to take care of early warning signs and close examination and act appropriately. And this is an algorithm. Whenever there is any sign of shock, if you, the first drug of choice is a normal saline bolus. Unlike in a bigger baby, even in a term baby, and especially in preterms, we will be very careful with boluses. In a term baby also, we will be giving lesser volume, 10 ml per kg over 30 minutes. Unless, because we are not sure what is the reason for the shock, whether it is cardiogenic shock or maybe it could be asphyxia. We do not know the exact reason. So start with the normal saline bolus 10 ml per kg and monitor for response. What should be your response? After 10 ml per kg of bolus over 30 minutes, whatever parameters were abnormal previously, it should come back to normal. If the baby is not showing response, you can start inotrope, dopamine, or dobutamine. Usually when the BP values are low, we'll be starting with dopamine. An easy way to calculate dopamine is 1 ml of dopamine is 40 milligram. So you can add 2 ml of dopamine in 100 ml of normal saline. And if it is run at 1 ml per hour, it will give a concentration of 5 microgram per kg per minute. Usually dopamine and dobutamine, they are given at a dose of 5 to 15 to 20 microgram per kg per minute. So this is an easy way to calculate for this, but for accurate measurement and titration, you need syringe pumps and infusion pumps. It would be better. And after starting dopamine, maybe after 15 to 30 minutes, again you see the response and titrate accordingly. If your baby's BP numbers have become normal and the baby is showing tachycardia, you can decrease the dose of inotrope. Or if the baby is not respond or showing gradual response, you can titrate, you can increase the dose of dopamine. And once you have reached a 10 to more than 15 microgram per kg per minute and your baby is not showing good response, you can think of starting a second drug, dobutamine. And if your baby, again after 15 to 30 minutes, after starting these two inotropes, your baby is not responding, you should be worried. What is the reason? Maybe you will need a blood gas, lactate, an intra-arterial BP measurement, if facility is there available, and you have to look for other causes, heart, whether you are dealing with the coarctation of aorta. Antibiotics should be started initially because it is extremely important. Always consider sepsis as an important cause of, it could be any treatable cause, so always start antibiotics in a sick baby. And if your baby has shown adequate response, you can gradually come down on your inotropes. But monitoring has to be continued. I mentioned about therapeutic endpoints. What are therapeutic endpoints? These are the parameters which are abnormal to start with, and you have assessed the baby and you have given interventions. After your intervention, this has to come back to normal. Basically, in a case of perfusion, it is a CRT, your warm extremities, normal pulse volume, your cool, no core periphery temperature difference map should be okay. Upper limb, lower limb saturation difference should be less than 5%, and ultimately your stops should be okay. That is your therapeutic endpoint. Your stops should be okay at the end of your intervention. So what are the take-home messages? You have to monitor all parameters of stops, whatever be the situation. Any sick baby, seizures, hypoglycemia, shock, respiratory distress, you are assessing the baby using stops. So we will not miss anything. So a normal saline bolus should be given over 30 minutes in newborn. That too initially 10 ml per kg. You have to assess fast and react fast, and you have to observe for therapy response and continue monitoring even if the critical stage is over. And if you find the baby is not improving, or the condition is worsening in spite of your initial bolus and initial inotropes, and if your facility does not have too much, it is not equipped for higher treatment, maybe early referral is required. Thank you. And this is also important. You have to be ready always, because emergency can happen at any time. You should have sufficient manpower, and they should have sufficient equipment. We saw NIBP, a syringe pump, infusion pump, and appropriate drugs. All your crash cart drugs should be ready. Thank you.